one of our typical things that we like to do, which is the Hebrew roots. And let me go back. We already know what those are, but the Hebrew roots, I'm trying to see if I can play a song and then let y'all. Just take some time, family, and see what you come up with for this word.
We're walking through the lands where they scattered, carried on the pain that over for the handle, waited in the night with his crystal clever, threw it to my chest, it was finna gain damage up. I dress to the stars in the sky when I'm home first look, so it's fast in the wind, but I fucked up. It's five on looking up, and the food kind of or in nice for a whole lives with the blood in our veins, that we brain, the blood crack open in the clothes of the game, the children, the airplanes, but the cost of blame. Even when the sun. Other signs in a fire. 83 in a bus, frozen still breathing, broke even better. Still rise when it does at the voice of a show for shattering. On my back with a lucky foot, twisting my hands in a box, I'm rolling. To the west with the roots of blood, and in my blood and the truth keeps flowing. Even with a fall along, all my through it and I think, all of it, although it's hurting. Through it, I think. Alone, alone. We don't get it from
That was Feel the Spirit or Feel the Ruach by Micah Yahoo. So let me get this back up. And What did you all get for this word? You can unmute if you want to type it in the chat. I can see that as well.
Qahal?
Qahal. I see it in the chat as well. Qahal, la, Qahal. Anybody, you probably should know just based on the conversation, but have a clue what this word means in English.
Like gathering or assembly?
That's one. Good job. Anything else?
Shalom. Can y'all hear me clear?
Con.
It makes me think of when Abijah does the Siddur, and he says, Qual Shapar. So I think of voice, call, like speak to call to a gathering type thing. Is that, I don't know if that's the same word or not, though.
Might be a different word. I'm not 100% sure. We got one. He said assembly. So that's one. Um, it's a couple others that it could be too. And it's okay if y'all don't know. You can just guess. So assembly, he got that right. What's another word for assembly? Chat. Let's
Church.
see. Church, which is actually correct, but we're replacing that word because we don't use it. So congregation.
Synagogue.
Synagogue would be a good one too. Multitude is another one. So you see this word in our text, and it refers to assembly, congregation, or multitude a lot of times, but it can be a synonym or a replacement for synagogue or a church because they use those words for us gathering. So that's kind of the point of replacing that word church because when you see it in relation to how we're going to see it, how it's used, then it won't be any confusion on like church could in our time, church refers to anybody who goes into a building versus kahal. It shows that it's only talking about the Israelites. Did anybody have any reason or like what with the way we break down our words, what could these letters, form into as far as like a meaning or like a sentence form?
The set apart people by the shepherd, those who are set apart by the shepherd.
That's good, Con. Good job. Those set apart by the shepherd. Anybody else?
You can also use the ka as those who have been risen, elevated
Mm.
by the shepherd.
That's amazing. I didn't even put that. That's good. That's really good. Great job. Anybody else? All right. If you wanted to type it in the chat, feel free. All right.
When we read the chat, out your Shar says, beginning of the revelation of the gathering.
That's not wrong, That's not wrong. That's definitely not wrong. That's a great way to look at it. That's a great way to look at it. I can't really say that that's wrong. It might be some other context where we can narrow down the focus, but it's definitely not wrong.
I mean, uh, Shalakia, could you say, I mean, y'all, y'all done killed it, especially Tazabah Baja. That was a great one. But I was thinking about maybe, and it's saying the same thing, but maybe the gathering. uh, or YAHAWASHA gathering the sheep, or the scattered sheep gathered. Because I'm looking at that lie, the shepherd staff, and that's what Christ, his whole thing was to come. Well, come back in. His objective was to get us back in covenant. You know what I'm saying, to give us, to be a mediator. But he was referred to as our shepherd here on earth, I believe, or maybe that's the Most High. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about, the gathering of the sheep, or the scattered sheep, or however.
That works. Gathering the sheep works for sure. And yeah, the Most High is the ultimate shepherd, but Yahushua is our appointed shepherd in the Most High's stead. So you was correct. So just throwing a few of these up here, and then if you wanted to form it in another way, now you can. With seeing some of these meanings that I put, and there's many more, but I think it's gonna come together pretty good. Um, I just didn't want to, I know it's a good feeling when you can see the functionality and get it. So that's why I'm just taking my time, making sure, the Most High hasn't placed anything on y'all's spirits versus me just saying what I thought it was. All right. So I put a people separated and appointed to worship and serve the shepherd. A people separated and appointed to worship and serve the shepherd. Anybody want to make a comment about that?
Con, apologize if it's a little loud. I'm at work, but I was just thinking about I can't see my phone because I'm working with my hands. But as as you were talking and hearing everybody, I started to think of course, the qua being the set apart, separating. It looks like a sun rising or setting, so it can be something separate from something. The peculiar people according to the law. And that's what I was thinking of with that shepherd staff. But you essentially just said the same thing. But that's another thing that just came to my mind. The shepherd staff being our instructions, the rod of iron, if you will, being the law. And just like you said, this word, we would know that it's only talking about Israelites because we are the only ones who received the law. But I'll yield with that.
That's amazing. Great job. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, when I seen this and then I thought about it with the breakdown, it reminded me of something that is famous in our history. Zamaria.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you. So if you wouldn't need to get your point out, you could.
No, go ahead.
Well, seeing this in play, like I like what you put up here, people separated and appointed to worship and serve the shepherd, and to see this come out in a precept, to see this word in action. I'm reminded of the word that the Most High gave to Moses. He said, he told the Pharaoh, he said, yo, let my people go so that they can be set apart and they can have an appointed place to worship me. So I was just thinking of that scripture, wherever it is, when Moses had to deliver that word to the Pharaoh.
Let's go. I love it. Because that means that you're getting what the Most High told me to put out for you. I didn't have to say it. You said it to the 100% T. That's exactly what it reminded me of. It just put that's what it's all about. That just made the whole day for me. I could stop. I could stop right now. And that's what I had on the screen. That's why I try to let the spirit speak so I can see if anybody's on the same page. Sometimes we won't be, but I pray the Most High. Boom, you nailed it,
Let's
killed
get
it.
that A flat going. Do do do
Yes,
do do
sir.
do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what it's all about. And you shall say unto him, Yahweh Elohim of the Ibaryam have sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go that they may serve me in the wilderness. Qahal, a people separated and appointed to worship and serve the shepherd or serve the Most High. To Anybody have a comment before I continue?
We got precepts to back this up too, man. We got precepts to back this up. Tahalum 81. Let me see if Tahalam 81 or 85. The church in the wilderness. We always been the church. Like there's just no getting around it. Let me see. It was Tahalam 81. Um, was it 85? It's somewhere around there. His church in the wilderness. Uh, I'll find it. I'll keep going. I'm gonna find it.
Okay, I was about to start putting emojis in the chat. Hold on, let me close this out. Oh. All right. So perfect. So then when you look at the blue letter, it says Qahal is an assembly, a company, a congregation, or a convocation. And then number two is just great, a company of returning exiles, a company of returning exiles. And we're the only ones who've been exiled. Um, then it says here assembly, company, congregation, multitude. Now we have the Gen G Gesenius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, and it says down here in the highlighted part, especially the congregation of the people of Israel. Boom, got them. Go ahead, Op.
Salaki, it was Tahalim 74 that backs that up. This is a Tahalim or Psalm 74 and verse 2. Remember thy congregation which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thy inheritance, which thou hast redeemed, this Mount Zion wherein thou dwell. So the set apart, the assembly, the Qahal of old is the Israelites.
1000%, Op. 1000%. Appreciate that, Op. Um, Anybody else?
On Salakia, real quick. Now, I just wanted to mention that scripture came to mind about Mashiach when he said he came to divide. He came to divide and not for peace. It goes something like that. I can't remember the script, but that script came to mind when Abijah had just rehearsed that.
You said which script, Op?
It's in Matthew where Mashiach he talks about, "Do you think I come to bring peace, but I actually came to
Bring the
divide
sword. Okay.
Matthew 10.
the water." Con.
I think it's 10 and 34, somewhere around there.
Con. Do you want us to find it, Op?
I can not Lena just pulled it up. Let me see. Con, it says the water queen says, "Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword." And then let me see. That's should be another part. Um, I don't see the exact part. I don't want to hold you up, though. I thought he talked about separating the mom from the mother. I mean, the mom from the daughter, and the father-in-law from the
Yeah,
brother.
he is. He is. Like verse 21, brother shall deliver up brother unto death, and the father and the child, the children shall rise up against their parents. You shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but who shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Um, and it just continues on and on and on. But
Talking about
either
verse
way,
35, verse
okay.
35 is probably what you're looking at.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be those of his own household. And I'm guessing, and you could tell me, your point is like how the Qahal is separated for the Most High. He's coming to do a separation. Is that your point?
Con, the water for that.
Khan. Uh, Jazz, you had your hand up.
Yeah, can I be heard?
Khan.
Okay, sorry, I'm driving. I just had a question before I made a comment. So, Qahal is the word that if we search the Bible for the word church, we actually would get Qahal or assembly.
So so that's what we going over this part now. The words you'll see it for is like multitude, assembly, or congregation. You'll only find church, I believe, in the New Testament. And I was saying how that, the New Testament, they have changed to use that word church in English, and we wouldn't have used that word church, is kind of my point.
Okay, gotcha. Because so that I wanted to land back off of what Zamaria said, um, in that precept in Exodus, because the congregation that we're with out here in Charlotte, Most High has been leading the elder to speak about the assembly in the wild and going into how no other people, and it just, it, no other people have specifically encountered the Most High God in this form or fashion. And correct me if I'm wrong, it happened in the wilderness after the Exodus. So it's beautiful what is being brought out too about that word kahal, because what Most High did after the Exodus fortifies like y'all mind. Nobody else has gotten this treatment. Nobody's seen him in this manner. So I just wanted to bring that out. All praises.
All praises, Khan. That is absolutely correct. Tazabai, did you have something?
No, just the man, the spirit is here because just with that piece about the congregation, the Qahal of the wilderness, those so-called New Testament letters, those memoirs, they continuously refer to that wilderness journey. So that lets you know as Shamaryah is bringing out who the real Gentiles are. When these scriptures mention Gentiles, you have to take a closer look because the elders, their writings always refer back to the wilderness, how he led the people with a pillar, a cloud. So even though they have new labels like Shamaryah is bringing out, we got new labels now: Ephesians, Galatians. Underneath the surface, when you apply reading comprehension, these are the scattered Israelites, the Jews. I yield with that.
On 100%. And so I have a few definite verses here, and showing how this word was used in the text or whatever. And the first one here, they use it for the word multitude. And then when you look at Genesis 28, I put verse 3, but when you look at verse 1, it says, "And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said to him." And so he was talking to Jacob. And then it goes down and says, verse 3, "And the Most High Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you mayest be a multitude of people." So that multitude is the Qahal. And also uh the word, so it would be kahal, kahal or kahal amah. And if you've seen all the other classes and Tazabah Bijah's classes, we've talked about that word amah, or which refers only to the Israelites. Kahal la amah, or kahal amah, or kahal so the multitude of people here is not talking about random all groups of people all over the world. The multitude is the Qahal, the Israelites. So I hope that makes sense. Um, it's used again in Exodus 16:3. The children of Yasharallah said unto them, would to Yah we had died by the hand of Yahweh in the land of Egypt, when we did eat bread to the full, for ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. I didn't want to put these in here, but they all just start getting negative from here. But it just makes sense because we have to deal with the negative and the positive sides of the Most High, but all the other nations only want to come around when it's positive with the Most High. So we know that our people had a lot of trouble in the wilderness, and a lot of them were killed in the wilderness for this type of behavior. But this word they use for assembly right here was Qahal. Tazabah.
I just wanted to be a witness. For those of you, I know Shamaria went and got one. If you have the Hebrew Greek keyword study Bible, that Genesis 28 and 3 verse, it has the Strongs there for multitude. The Strong's key number is Strong's 6951 for multitude. So as the brother is bringing this out, he did his research. So the Hebrew Greek Bible brings it out. That word multitude is going back to Strong's Hebrew H6951, like he said.
All praises. And so again, like Sister Jasmine was saying, how this whole thing of the Qahal being in the wilderness, well, this is the precept for that concept that came to her mind, and how they talked about, is the Most High going to just kill this whole Qahal with hunger in the wilderness? Another one is Deuteronomy 31 and 30. It says, and Mashah spake into the ears of all the congregation, the Qahal of Yasharallah, the words of this song until they were ended. So the target audience was Yasharallah, and that word Qahal is the congregation. And also, so by the time when it says this message is to the angel at the church of Ephesus, it's really should have said the Qahal. He would have said the Qahal. He wouldn't have said church. That's the point that I'm saying. And if it would have been in that language and it all together, then we would automatically know who he was talking about. I think I have one more. And it says Numbers 20 and 4. And why have you brought up the Qahal, the congregation of YAHAWAH, into this wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? So again, our people being stiff-necked, hard-headed, unfaithful, questioning the Most High, but they were calling themselves the Qahal, or according to the writer, the narration of it. And that only refers to the Israelites. So all praises for that. Did anyone have any final comments about the Qahal before we move on?
Khan, if I may,
Yes,
I
sir.
I just man, I know contextually the wilderness is a metaphor for any place outside of the promised land, Zion. So I was trying to find a scripture to have as a proof text of that, but the AI results just said wilderness in Hebrew thought, especially Judaism, we know what that means, isn't just a barren place, but a transformative space between confinement, Egypt, and fulfillment, the promised land, a place of divine testing, revelation, and dependence on God or the Most High, teaching humility and deep listening to his voice through nature's silence and provision, essentially for spiritual growth and understanding one's purpose. And that's what this diaspora is about. This scattering is a punishment to get us to focus on the Most High. So even in modern terms, this scattering is the wilderness for us, and it's a place of testing to see, like, oh Father, just like he did that first generation, I'm taking y'all through the wilderness to see which one of y'all are going to keep my word. And that's what this captivity is about. He's testing us, which one of the remnant is going to keep my word to be the Qahal, those risen or elevated again over the people. Man, this is good. Oh, praise. I yield. Man, I'm
No,
ready to have
all
church.
praises, man. That's what it's all about. That's what I pray the Most High, do for us. Like, let His word flow, let His spirit flow, and hopefully it's leading us to the same direction. And with that, it's funny you brought up that, because I'm gonna have